Court is now back in session.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, jury, you're about to see the deposition of Michael Barrett, one of the defendants in this case. It's a long deposition, so we'll break off for lunch at some point. Ready for the deposition?
Yes, Your Honor. It's a total of around 2.5 hours, just so people have it right in their minds.
Good.
And we'll play that.
Ready?
Mr. Barrett, you understand that you're under oath, correct? That is correct. Are you represented by counsel? No, I'm not. You plan to defend against the claims brought against you in Tennessee? And you're here to testify about a deposition this morning? I can't afford counsel. Is that a yes? I'm adjourned before the line.
Excuse me, can you turn the volume
A
up?
couple questions about your background.
There you go. Well, can't turn it up yet.
The time in the sense that combined insurance. How long have you been with us? 3 years. How long have you been in the position that you were in at the time you resigned?
Your Honor, can we pause it right here and make sure we're all on the same page?
I agree that that's a good idea. To make sure we got it right.
record, but this is a reproduction of a Skype deposition. So the sound is not very good. We're trying to figure out how to he was somewhere in the West Coast testifying, and I was ruling on objections as he was testifying.
Hey, Judge, he said the computer said only the first 4 minutes of the volume.
So just listen real good.
Listening to it one shot and make sure you got it right, and then it looks like we're ready to go.
Okay.
Ready to go now.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm told that if we could get the microphones muted, that would help the audio, the courtroom microphones. I think she's doing it.
Michael, M-I-C-A-E-L, David, D-A-V-I-D, Barrett, B-A-R-R-E-T. Mr. Barrett, you understand that you're under oath, correct? Are you represented by counsel? No, I'm not. In the 2008-2009 time frame, where were you employed? Combined Insurance. And where's Combined Insurance? Could you please state and spell your name for the record, sir? Michael, my C-H-A-E-L.
I think these two. It's feeding through this one. Officer Brett. There's no one. She tried to do it there, but it didn't take it down. So where's the individual mirrors? Okay. This is the one that's giving the feedback. All of them are going to do it because it's surrounds. Can you mute all the mics?
I can mute them all.
Yeah, that's what we need. That's what causes the feedback.
That's what
It's because the mics.
This is just high tech.
They should be. Try it again. Before we start, we'll put this one back on.
So muted.
Combined insurance. Could you please state and spell your name for the record, sir? Michael, my C-H-A-E-L, David, D-A-V-I-D, Barrett, B-A-R-R-E-T-T. And Mr. Barrett, you understand that you're under oath, correct? That is correct. Are you represented by counsel? No, I'm not. In the 2008-2009 time frame, where were you employed? Combined insurance. And where is combined insurance located? No offices in Glenview, Illinois. And where was your office? Glenview, Illinois. And tell us the business of combined insurance. Supplemental disability life insurance. And what was your position with that as of 2008 National Sales Administrator? When did you last work for combined insurance? October of 2009. Were you terminated from the public at the time? Why did you leave? Based upon your services, correct? What circumstances did you apply? I want to talk about the fact that you were arrested. Yes. Did you resign before or after you were arrested? I resigned after. Who was your direct superior at combined insurance at the time of the arrest? Yes, sir. Let's see here. Other than Annette Klein, you plan to defend against the claims brought against you in the Tennessee? You're here to testify about the deposition this morning? I can't work out. Then yes, I'm determined to vote my signal. First, I'd like to ask a couple of questions about your background. What was your report at the time of the sentence to combined insurance? How long have you been with them? 30 years? And how long have you been in the position that you were in at the time you resigned? Say one form or another, probably about 12 years. Have you had any other employment with any other entity other than combined 30 years preceding your resignation? No. What's your educational background? High school diploma. Do you have any college education not leading to a degree at least? No. When you were
first word combined, what we consider Miller. So you're kind of walking through your career progression.
Started in Miller part-time while I was in high school. Graduated from high school, got my insurance license, sold insurance for a number of years. Decided to come back into the administrative field in the office, do what was called sales promotions, kick off incentives, did prizes, that kind of thing, inside the incentive, the sales force. Got into administration in my early 20s, regional level, got promoted to Phoenix in the early 90s. Moved down there for about 4 years. Moved back to Portland, had another promotion. About 2 years, and then I got promoted to the corporate office in the late 90s.
You were asked questions by counsel at the outset. Deposition. With respect to plea agreements, let me ask you just a couple questions about that. First, you did not draft that plea agreement. That is correct. Do you know who did draft it? No. To your knowledge, do you believe the attorney that you had represented you in that transaction also did not draft it? My knowledge doesn't be correct. As you are sitting here today, based upon the testimony you have given today, you are making no allegation of fault against any other party to this litigation. Is that correct?
Objection is to form is also asserting intent of making allegations against anyone.
Call for speculation. That would be correct under the allegations against anybody.
Is it fair to say that you're not saying one way or the other whether anyone else did anything wrong because you're asserting the fifth when asked about those issues, correct? That was true.
We're now transitioning.
Today's date is December 5th, 2013. The time is 9:21 West Coast time in the morning, a.m. We are on the record.
Would you swear to witness?
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you will give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Good morning, Mr. Barrett. Good morning. When we last sat here in approximately September of 2012, you were living with your sister and your brother-in-law at the South Morel Drive address. Is that still where you reside, sir?
No.
Can you tell us where you currently reside?
With my father at 9763 Southeast 40th, Milwaukee, Oregon.
And how long have you resided at that address with your father?
14 months.
Is it your present intention to reside there going forward, or do you have a present intention to move?
That's all I can afford, so I live there for life.
Where are you currently employed?
Columbia Empire.
What is the business of Columbia Empire?
Meat and food distribution.
What do you do for them?
Pack orders, deliver product.
Do you have an official job title?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Is that a full-time job?
Yes.
How long have you been in that job?
Not quite 6 months.
What is their address?
I'm not sure.
Where are they located, city?
Portland, Oregon.
Is that the only current job that you have?
Yes.
How was it that you first came to learn of Erin Andrews?
I knew she was based on TV.
When you say you knew she was based on TV, how did you know who she was? What were the circumstances under which you came to learn of who she was? again, I mean, she's on TV, she's on, I watch a lot of sports, so that's what I do shoot.
So she was a sportscaster, and you saw her doing sporting events for ESPN. Is that accurate?
That was how I first became aware of who she was, yes.
When was that?
I have no idea.
Do you have any estimate in terms of years, dates?
Not really, no.
Do you know how long it was before you first followed her to a hotel?
How long it was, what?
That you first came to learn of her?
I don't understand your question.
Sure. At some point in time, you heard the name Erin. Do you know how long that was before the first time that you followed her to a hotel and videotaped her?
Probably a couple of years.
You've seen her on TV many times, I take it.
I think she passed by as many.
Can you estimate for us how many? More than 10?
Maybe probably, yeah.
More than 50?
No.
More than 25?
No.
So somewhere between 10 and 25?
I would guess.
When did you first decide that you were going to try to follow her to any particular location?
I would guess probably start of 2008.
And describe for us what it is that you decided to do.
Maybe they were trying to profit from the videotape.
When you say videotape her to try to profit from the videotape, how was it that you intended on profiting from the videotape?
It's a pretty ill-conceived plan, obviously, so try to sell the video to somebody.
So it was your intent to follow her to various locations, to get videotape of her, and then to try to sell the videotape, correct?
Not initially, no.
What was your initial plan?
One time and done.
So your initial plan was to follow her to one location, to videotape her. Was it to videotape her without clothes on?
With or without it?
Was it your intent to hopefully get her without clothes on?
Yes.
And to videotape her and to try to sell it to someone and to profit from it, correct?
Unfortunately, yes.
Why did you decide to do that?
It's a great question.
Well, I'd like to hear the answer.
So would I too. I don't have the answer. I've thought about it over and over in my mind. Just financial bind I was in, and a huge mistake in judgment, and regret easily.
Why was it that you chose Erin Andrews over anyone else?
I saw her trending on video on the Yahoo or something. I didn't realize she was as popular as she was. And just no particular reason, just thought that might be it, based upon her popularity.
When you say trending on Yahoo, tell us what you mean by that.
Well, when you click on Yahoo, it'll give you the top trending things that are happening that day. And looked at it, saw her amongst other things that were happening that day. And she was one, and just that's what the thought was.
How did you learn that you could simply unscrew a peephole from the outside?
I witnessed actually somebody else do it at some place, at a hotel in Chicago.
How long before?
Maybe a year.
So that's where you got the idea in terms of how to do it, by witnessing somebody else do it about a year earlier?
Yeah, I don't think it was consciously an idea at the time, but yeah.
When you saw someone do it a year earlier, what were the circumstances under which they were doing it?
It was actually a person who worked at a hotel downtown.
And you uploaded it to Daily Motion and it didn't get blocked?
That is correct.
Do you recall when it was that you uploaded those few seconds of video to Daily Motion?
It wasn't just those few seconds, it would have been with the Nashville videos as well.
Got it. So at the time that you uploaded the video to Daily Motion, it was the video, the few seconds of video you had shot in Columbus and the several minutes of video that you shot at the Nashville Marriott, correct?
That is correct.
Were there any other videos of Ms. Andrews that you uploaded to Daily Motion?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did you ever send the video, the few seconds of video from Columbus to any of your friends or acquaintances?
Absolutely not.
Were there occasions, going back to Columbus, were there occasions when you called her room there as well?
That was the only time.
So the only time you called her room to determine whether she was there was at the Radisson in Milwaukee?
Correct.
And there was no answer?
Right.
So you assumed she was gone?
I did.
Tell us what you did after making that phone call.
Took the people out, altered it, put it back in, and I left shortly afterwards.
When you say you took the peephole out and altered it, that was something different than what you had done in Columbus, where you just simply removed the peephole, correct?
That's correct.
Tell us what you did to alter the peephole.
I took a hacksaw, cut off the threads, and so it was just basically a plug, and put it back in.
Why did you do that?
So it appeared that there was a peephole there.
You were concerned that if you simply removed the peephole, somebody might detect that?
Correct.
If you modified it in the manner that you did, you would still be able to film from the outside, but it would look like there was a peephole there, correct?
Say that again?
Sure. If you modified the peephole in the way that you did, use the hacksaw to cut down the threads and make it so that it was like a plug, you would still be able to see, would you still be able to see from the outside in?
No, you have to pull the plug out.
Understood. So just so we're clear then, you modified it so it was a plug that could be pulled out so you could videotape through what would be essentially an empty hole, correct?
That's correct.
How did you learn to do that?
I don't know, just a stupid thought I thought myself.
Did you conduct any research to determine that you could hacksaw a peephole, turn it into essentially a plug so that it could be removed?
No.
When you hacksawed the peephole, did you do it right there in the hallway?
No.
Did you take it to your room?
Yes.
So you unscrewed the peephole of her door, you took it to your room, you hacksawed it, you then went back to her room and you put the plug in, correct?
Yes, correct.
Did you see anyone in the hall at the time you removed the peephole?
When I removed it, no.
When you put it back in?
Yes.
Who did you see?
There was a maid in a couple rooms down.
Did she see you, we'll strike that, was she in a position to see you put the plug in the peephole?
No.
Where was she at the time that you were putting the plug in the peephole?
In an adjacent room, cleaning.
So you saw her, but she wasn't in a position to see what you were doing?
Correct.
Do you know whether there was videotape on that hallway?
No idea.
No kind of security at all that you're aware of?
That I'm aware of, no.
How long was it from the time that you began to remove the peephole until the time that you put the plug in? Was it a matter of minutes, or how long did it take you to hacksaw the
5 minutes.
To the best of your knowledge, up through late July, early August of 2008, the only times that you were in the same location as Ms. Andrews were in Columbus, as you've described for us, and in Milwaukee, as you've described for us, correct?
That is correct.
Any other occasions that you're aware of when you were in the same location as Ms. Andrews, whether or not you saw her?
Just those 2 locations.
Following the trip to Milwaukee, did you again determine at some point in time that you wanted to videotape Ms. Andrews without clothes on for the purpose of selling the video?
Yes.
When is the next time that you determined that you wanted to videotape Ms. Andrews in the state of undress?
Nashville.
That was September 2008?
That sounds correct.
During the time, strike that. From the time that you left Milwaukee until the time that you decided to videotape Ms. Andrews in Nashville, did you contact any other hotels in any other cities for the purpose of traveling to a location where you understood Ms. Andrews would be?
Ask me that one more time.
Of course. I'm sorry, it was a little convoluted. Let me strike that and I'll ask again. From the time that you left Milwaukee until the time that you went to Nashville, did you have any intent of going to any other cities where you understood Ms. Andrews would be?
No.
Ultimately, you determined that she would be doing a sporting event in Nashville, correct?
Correct.
What event was that?
Football game.
Involving what teams?
Vanderbilt, and I don't recall who else.
How was it that you chose that time and that location to follow Ms. Andrews?
I needed to take a trip to Nashville for business, and it coincided again with my business plans.
Was your business trip to Nashville one that you could set the date when you wanted to set it, and you set it around the event, or how was it that the two dates coincided?
It was a time where I needed to get down there, and it had been on the calendar to get to Nashville, and this was just a convenient reason to get down there.
So you needed to go to Nashville, and you were able to set your business around the fact that Ms. Andrews would be there, correct?
I needed to get down there and do some business, so yes, it was a matter of two things, yes.
How did you determine where Ms. Andrews would be staying in Nashville?
Same process,
Describe for us the process.
which I did earlier in the Milwaukee case. Just call the hotel. Do I have a reservation there? Yes or no? In this case, yes. Okay, thank you very much.
Do you know if you called the hotel, if you spoke with the hotel directly, or if you spoke with the Marriott Reservation Center? Do you know one way or the other?
Not definitively.
You spoke with someone on the phone, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall whether it was a male or a female?
No idea.
Do you recall the date that you spoke with that person?
No idea.
Once you determined that Ms. Andrews, strike that, did you ultimately determine that Ms. Andrews was staying at the Nashville Marriott at Vanderbilt University?
Did I ultimately determine that?
Yes, sir.
Based upon my phone call you're talking
Yes,
about?
sir.
Yes.
How was it, strike that, did you call other hotels first, or did you know that ESPN was going to be staying at that facility?
I didn't know where they would be staying, and I don't recall if I called the hotels or not.
Ultimately, you determined through your phone call that Ms. Andrews would be staying at that hotel to cover the football game, correct?
Based upon its proximity to the football field, yeah.
That was, strike that. Did you know that ESPN had stayed, whether ESPN had stayed there in the past?
No idea.
When you called the hotel and learned that Ms. Andrews would be staying there, did you make a reservation during that call or a subsequent call?
Subsequent.
So in a subsequent call, you made your reservation, correct?
That would be correct.
And that was through a telephone call as opposed to the internet?
I'm assuming that. I don't recall exactly.
Do you recall having any conversation with anyone at Marriott at the time that you set your reservation?
I don't recall any specific conversation, no.
Did you request a room next to Ms. Andrews?
Yes, I did.
When you requested a room next to Ms. Andrews, do you recall any pushback to that, any statement to the effect that they couldn't do that?
I don't recall a conversation, no.
Prior to checking into the hotel, do you recall anyone telling you that they couldn't put you in a room next to Ms. Andrews at the Nashville Marriott?
No.
How long before you traveled to Nashville was it that you made your reservation?
A couple of days.
What work or business purpose did you have for being in Nashville?
We had an office down there in Nashville, and the manager of that office was out on medical leave, so there's a few things I need to get done and I get cleaned up.
Did you fly to Nashville?
I did.
Did you pay for the flight, or did Combined Insurance pay for the flight?
Combined insurance.
When you flew to Nashville, did you fly alone?
Yes.
Did you rent a car, or did you take a cab to the hotel?
I rented a car.
Did Combined Insurance pay for the car?
Yes.
When you rented the car, did you leave the airport and go directly to the Nashville Marriott?
I believe so.
When you arrived at the Nashville Marriott, do you recall approximately the time of day?
Late morning.
When you say late morning, sometime around 10, 11 o'clock?
My best guess, yeah, probably.
Did you have business that day, or was your business the next day?
That day.
Was the football game that day, or was it the next day?
I believe it was that day.
When you got to the hotel, you parked your car, correct? Or did you have a valet park?
No, I parked.
You went inside to check in, correct?
That is correct.
You went to the front desk?
I did.
Do you recall anything about the person that checked you in?
Nothing.
Male, female, race, anything?
Nothing.
When you checked into the hotel, did you discuss with the front desk clerk your prior request to have a room next to Ms. Andrews?
No.
You simply walked up, gave them your name, they gave you a room key, correct?
That is not correct.
Tell us what happened.
When I checked in, it was morning, and the hotel was very busy. It was sold out because of the football game. So they said, the rooms are not available. The room you requested is not available. So we'll have to put you in a different area. But that room's not available yet either. So you have to check in later on. It's okay, fair enough.
All right, so when that happened, what did you do?
I said thank you, walked away, went and went back to my car. I think I went and got something to eat, and then came back a little while later and checked in again.
Did they tell you what time your room would be available?
Later that morning.
When you came back, do you recall approximately what time it was?
I don't. Probably an hour or so, half hour.
When you came back and checked in, do you recall who it was that checked you in at that point in time?
I don't.
Do you recall anything about that person, gender, race, anything?
I don't. It was a pretty busy, hectic time. So.
When you checked in, came back and actually checked into your room, was there a discussion of what room you would be placed in?
No.
Was it a situation at that point where you walked up to the front desk, you gave them your name, they gave you a room key?
Not directly, no.
Tell us what happened.
I got something to eat. I went down to the restaurant, and there's house phones in the restaurant. Okay? So I had picked up the house phone, and I called the operator and asked what room. I said, could I have Erin Andrews' room? They connected me on house phones, concierge phones, and things. It shows the room number on those, so that I knew what room she was in.
So from where was that? From the lobby, or where?
The restaurant.
So from the restaurant, you called the operator, you asked for Erin Andrews' room. They put you to Erin Andrews' room, and on the phone in the restaurant it showed her room number.
Yes, it does.
And that's how you learned what room she was in.
That is correct.
Once learning what room she was in, did you then make another request to be put into a room next to her?
No. What I did is I went to that floor, 10th floor, I believe, and had noticed that the maid was cleaning the room next to her room, and that person was checking out. So I said, I noticed the room, whatever it was, I can't remember the number, is open. They're cleaning it out. Could I check into that room?
And what did they say?
They said, let's check and see. So they went back and verified the maids, and whatever they did, I don't know. After a few minutes, they came back out, checking into that room.
At any point in time, did anyone at the hotel tell you that they could not put you in a room next to Ms. Andrews solely at your request?
I don't recall that conversation.
At any point in time, did anyone at the hotel tell you that it was against any policy that they had for them to put someone in a room directly next to someone else solely at the request of one person? So when you called to make your reservation, you requested to be put in a room next to Ms. Andrews, correct?
I don't recall that conversation, but apparently it's on record that I did, so I'll say yes.
And ultimately you were put in the room next to Ms. Andrews, correct?
Ultimately I was.
Do you recall the room numbers? I think you said the 10th
10th floor, but I don't know the room number now.
Was there a reason that you wanted to be put in the room next to Ms. Andrews at the National Marriott?
Just for the purpose of videotaping.
When you went to the hotel, you went there for the purpose of videotaping Ms. Andrews in a state of undress, correct?
That's correct.
Was it your intent to videotape her that evening?
I believe the game was that day, so yes.
Sometime before the game?
Correct.
After you checked into your room, we'll strike that. When you were in the restaurant and you had them connect you to Ms. Andrews' room, did she answer?
No, I have not. When I saw them, they're not.
So the sole purpose was to determine her room number?
That's correct.
When you went up to the floor and saw that the room next to her was being cleaned out, did you see her?
No.
When you got to your room, what is the next thing you did in furtherance of your plan to videotape Ms. Andrews in a state of undress?
I believe in that case I checked in, went to my room. As I was coming to the room, I could actually hear her talking on the phone, so I knew it was the right room. I did some things in my room, made a few phone calls. I heard the door slam closed next to me. It was like a little alcove area, so looked at my little viewer and I saw it was her leaving her room. And then at that point I altered the people.
So when you were going to actually check into your room and you were up on the floor, you could hear her on the phone from the hallway?
Correct.
Then when you got into your room, you could hear her door shut in the room next to you, and you looked out and you saw that she was leaving her room, correct? And at that point, then you knew it was an opportune time for you to go out and pass off people, correct?
That's correct.
Did you immediately then go into the hallway and unscrew the peephole for her door?
I wouldn't say immediately, but within about 5 minutes probably, yeah.
You said it was in a little alcove area. Can you describe for us the alcove area that you're talking about where your room and Ms. Andrews' room were located?
Well, to the best of my recollection, it's been 5 years now, but it was the end of a hall, and at the end of the hall was, you go to the right, there was two rooms, you go to the left, there was 2 rooms that were just separated from the hallway.
So the 2 rooms, your room and Ms. Andrews' room, were separated from the other rooms on the hallway. They were in their own area.
Just blocked off from the main hallway, yeah.
Could you see the rooms, the doors to the rooms from the main hallway, or did you have to go into the alcove area to see the doors?
You'd have to go into the main, or walk by the alcove area.
So as you're standing in the main hallway, you can't see the room?
That's correct.
You went out your room, Ms. Andrews' room was immediately next door. You unscrewed the peephole from her door, correct?
Correct.
How long did it take you to do that?
A minute.
Based on the location, if somebody's just standing in the hallway, they couldn't see you, correct?
That's correct.
Because of this alcove area.
That's correct.
So you unscrewed the peephole, took it into your room, and did you do the same thing that you had done in Milwaukee in terms of hacksawing the
That's correct.
threads?
That's correct.
You went back and you put the plug in the door so that it appeared as though there was a full peephole there, correct?
That's correct.
How long did it take you to hacksaw the peephole at the Marriott?
A couple of minutes.
Did you immediately then go put the plug in the door?
I did.
Are you aware of anyone else being in that alcove area during the time that you did that?
I didn't see anybody else.
Once you put the plug in the peephole, did you go back to your room?
Briefly.
What did you do?
Went back to my room, made a couple phone calls, and then headed to the office and did my work.
Where was your office in relation to the National Marriott?
Probably 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
How long were you at the office?
A few hours.
Did you meet with people there?
I saw people there, yeah.
Did you discuss Ms. Andrews with anybody at work?
Never discussed Ms. Andrews with anybody.
Not at any point in time? When you left, do you know the address of the combined insurance
I can't.
location in Nashville?
I can't remember now.
Still there to the best of your knowledge?
I couldn't tell you that. It's been 5 years.
When you left the combined insurance office in Nashville, did you go back to the hotel?
Yes,
You went back to your room?
I did.
And then what did you do?
When I went back to the room, unfortunately, I guess for both of us, that's when it was close to the time I thought she might be getting ready to go, and I could hear the shower alarm in her room when I walked by.
So as you were walking in the alcove, you could hear that Ms. Andrews' shower was on in her room.
That's correct.
You went into your room from there knowing that in fairly short order she would be out of the shower, correct?
That is correct.
So you got your LG Shine phone, correct?
Correct.
And you went out into the hallway.
That is correct.
Actually, when I say you went out into the hallway, you actually went into the alcove. You didn't need to go into the hallway, correct?
It's just an extension of the hallway, yeah.
Understood, but it's off to the side.
Yes.
Do you know whether she was still, strike that, do you know whether the shower was still on when you left your room, or could you hear from your room that her shower had gone on?
I couldn't hear from my room.
When you went into the hallway, did you then immediately pull the plug on the peephole?
No.
What did you do?
Waited till the shower was turned off.
So you waited in front of her door to hear when the shower was on?
No, I went back in my room and waited a few more minutes and came back out.
When you came back out, was the shower still on or had it gone off?
At some point it went off.
Did it go off? Did you actually hear it shut off while you were in the alcove, or did you leave your room, go outside into the alcove area, and it had already been turned off?
That was the case, I believe, yes.
So you believe that when you left your room and went back into the alcove area, the shower was already off?
That's, yes.
At that point, what did you do?
I pulled the plug out and waited for the opportunity.
When you first pulled, when you say you waited for the opportunity, you waited for her to be in a state of undress so you could videotape her?
So that she was visible in the room, yes.
So she was visible from the peephole area so that you could videotape her?
That would be correct.
When you pulled the plug on the peephole, I take it you then looked through the peephole to see if she was in a position for you to videotape her, correct?
That's correct.
Was she already standing in a location where you could see her from the peephole, or did you have to wait for her to exit the bathroom to get into that location?
A matter of probably less than 10 seconds, probably. I waited.
So originally, she wasn't in position. In a matter of less than 10 seconds, she had exited the bathroom and gotten in a position where you could see her from the peephole, correct?
Correct.
Was she in a state of undress when you saw her?
Yes, she was.
Other than her being in a state of undress, do you recall what else you saw her doing before you started videotaping?
I don't recall specifically, no.
Did she appear as though she was getting ready to get dressed to go out?
Yes.
So, standing in the alcove area off the hallway, you took your LG Shine phone and videotaped her through the peephole after pulling the plug, correct?
That would be correct.
At the Nashville Marriott, how long did you spend videotaping Ms. Andrews in a state of undress through the peephole?
I don't recall exactly.
Several minutes, correct?
Several minutes, yes.
So unlike the Columbus Hotel, which was only a few seconds, you were able to get several minutes of videotape at the Nashville Marriott, correct?
That's correct.
During the entire time, during those several minutes that you were videotaping Ms. Andrews, she was in a state of undress, correct?
Yes.
She was getting ready to go to work.
Correct.
Did you have any indication whatsoever that she knew you were there?
No.
At any point in time, when you followed Ms. Andrews or videotaped Ms. Andrews, did you get any indication that she knew what you were doing?
Absolutely not.
And in fact, your plan was to videotape her without her knowledge, correct?
Correct.
While you were videotaping her at the Nashville Marriott, could you see what you were videotaping? Was there some kind of viewer where you could see exactly what was being videotaped as it was being taped?
Yes.
Describe for us what you could see and how you could see it.
Just the picture was on the flip side of the camera, of the phone of the camera. It just saw what the videos have showed. That's what I saw.
So as you have the lens to videotape going through the peephole, the image that was being videotaped was on a screen that was available to you to view, correct?
That's correct.
Other than being in a state of undress and appearing as though she was getting dressed for work, what else did you see Ms. Andrews doing while you were videotaping her?
Nothing.
Was there a reason why you obtained several minutes of video at the Nashville Marriott? We'll strike that. Was there a reason why you decided to obtain several minutes of video at the Nashville Marriott?
No specific reason, no.
You had indicated earlier that the reason you only took a few seconds at the Blackwell in Columbus was because your conscience got to you, I think is what you said, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Did your conscience get to you while you were filming her at the Nashville Marriott?
Not to the extent it wasn't in Ohio State, no.
So after videotaping Ms. Andrews in a state of undress for several minutes, why did you decide to stop?
Just, that was enough. I'm not proud of what I did. I didn't like what I did, but enough was enough, and then maybe my conscience did probably get a hold of me and say, hey, it's enough.
You had finally obtained enough video where you thought you could sell it.
Maybe that was it. Probably a combination of all the above.
After videotaping Ms. Andrews for several minutes at the National Marriott in a state of undress, what did you do?
I don't recall.
Did you go back to your room?
I'm sure I did.
Did you watch the video?
I don't recall. I don't think so, but I don't recall.
Did you upload the video to either an email address or a website?
At some point I did, yeah.
That at some point while you were still in Nashville?
I believe so.
What was the purpose for doing so?
Just to get it off my phone and get it on a computer.
You uploaded it to an email attachment on your computer, or how did you do that? Tell us what you
Yes, I
did.
believe I attached it to an email to my computer. Yeah.
Did you then erase it from your phone?
I did.
What email address, if you recall, did you upload the several minutes of videotape to?
One of the two you mentioned earlier, either MDB 1018 or the Hands for You, one of the two.
At that point, after you had obtained these several minutes of video from the National Marriott, in your mind, did you believe at that point you had enough video to be able to sell it so that you didn't need to take any more?
I don't know what to my mind. At my mind at that point, it's been a while. I try to forget the whole thing, but I can't accurately answer that question. But in my mind, the short answer would be, yeah, enough's enough. That's it.
Prior to that, you only had a few seconds. Now you have several minutes. That made a difference to you.
I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but yeah, I had enough, I thought, to move forward.
You finally have enough that you could sell.
I guess that's a way to put it to me.
Once you obtained, we'll strike that. When you uploaded it to an email, did you send the email to anyone?
No.
Was it your intent, after taking the video at the National Marriott, to do anything with it other than to try to sell it for profit?
That was the intent.
Anything else?
No.
After you took the video at the National Marriott, did you see Ms. Andrews again in Nashville?
No.
Following, we'll strike that. After you took the video, went back to your room, what did you do for the remainder of that trip, if you recall?
I do not recall.
Did you go to the football game?
No.
At some point in time, did you run any kind of background check on Ms. Andrews?
I did.
When was that?
No idea.
What was the purpose for doing that?
There was no purpose at all with it. I mean, it just was looking at people, trying to rehire them for different reasons, and just did that. Just, I don't know why. It's just stupid, but I did it. Yeah.
Was that before or after Nashville?
I couldn't even guess and tell you what date it was.
What information did you obtain about Ms. Andrews?
I think it's just her address.
Where did she live? Did you know? What city?
Somewhere in Atlanta, I think.
Did you ever go to her address in Atlanta?
Absolutely not.
Did you ever make any attempt to go to Ms. Andrews' home?
Absolutely not.
Did you ever make any attempt to contact anyone at Ms. Andrews' home?
Absolutely not.
Did you ever make an attempt to contact Ms. Andrews other than, as we've discussed?
No.
Did you ever make an attempt to contact anyone in Ms. Andrews' family?
No.
The background check you ran on Ms. Andrews was before you were arrested, correct?
Yes.
Have you made any attempt to locate Ms. Andrews since the time that you've been arrested?
No.
Have you run any kind of background checks or searches on Ms. Andrews since you've been arrested?
No.
As part of your probation, do you still have a computer restriction?
I do.
What is the restriction?
That my internet usage is monitored by a parole officer.
So once you left Nashville, well, strike that. Just to be clear, after you videotaped Ms. Andrews, you did not see her again in Nashville, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Once you left Nashville, we'll strike that. After you checked into the hotel at the Nashville Marriott, did you have any communication with any staff member of the Nashville Marriott?
Ask me again?
Sure. We talked about communications you had with the front desk folks when you first went to check in, with the operator when you asked for Ms. Andrews to be connected to Ms. Andrews' room, and the interaction you had at the time that you actually did check into the hotel. Separate and apart from those three interactions, did you have any interaction with anyone else who you understood worked at the Nashville Marriott?
Just when I checked out.
You went to the front desk. Tell us that process, what happened.
Just check out a hotel room. So.
You went, you checked out, you asked for a copy of your receipt.
I'm sure, I mean, it's typical checking out of a hotel.
When you left the Nashville Marriott, did you go straight from there to the airport? We'll strike that. You stayed one night?
Yes.
Did you do any work for combined second day?
No.
You basically woke up in the morning and checked out?
Yes.
Did you speak with anyone on the night that you videotaped Ms. Andrews?
Did I speak with anyone?
Sure. Did you call anyone on the phone? Did you...
Yeah, I may have. I don't recall who I spoke to, but I may have.
Did you discuss with anyone the fact that you had videotaped Ms. Andrews?
No.
Did you ever let any of your friends see the videotape?
No.
After you videotaped Ms. Andrews at the Nashville Marriott, but before you contacted TMZ, you indicated that you posted the Nashville Marriott videos and the Columbus video on the French website, correct?
I don't recall the exact timetable. I may have contacted TMZ first, but I don't recall what was first.
Going back for a minute to the Nashville Marriott, did anyone at the hotel at any time ask you for any kind of proof that you knew Ms. Andrews?
No.
Did anyone at the Nashville Marriott tell you that they had a policy against putting somebody in an adjoining room solely at their request?
No.
When you left Nashville, we'll strike that. When you checked into the Nashville Marriott, you did so under your real name, correct?
Yes.
When you checked into the hotel in Columbus, you did so under your real name?
Yes.
And the same in Milwaukee?
Yes.
as of the time that you left the hotel in Nashville, did you ever go to any other hotel where you understood Ms. Andrews would be staying other than the hotel in Columbus, the hotel in Milwaukee, and the hotel in Nashville?
Did I ever go to another hotel?
Where you understood she would be staying?
No.
After you left the hotel in Nashville, following that point in time, did you ever go to any other hotel where you understood Ms. Andrews would be staying?
No.
Following as of the time that you left Nashville, did you go to any other location, whether it be a hotel or otherwise, where you understood Ms. Andrews would be present?
No.
Prior to leaving Nashville, again, other than the 3 hotels we've discussed, did you ever go to any other location where you understood Ms. Andrews would be present?
Prior to leaving Nashville?
Yes, other than the 3 hotels. Did you go to any other location that you understood Ms. Andrews would be present?
No.
When you left Nashville, what was your intent with respect to what to do with the videos that you had taken in Nashville and Columbus?
I don't recall my specific intent. I'm sure it was somewhere along the lines to sell it at some point, but I really don't recall what my mindset was at that point.
From the time that you checked out of the hotel in Nashville until the time that you contacted TMZ, did you make any other efforts to sell the videotape?
No.
Did you make any other efforts other than, I think as you described earlier, perhaps putting it on the French website, any efforts to put the videotape out into an area where it can be viewed by the public?
No. Not that I recall, no.
Did you at any time use the name Mark Bennett?
Yes.
For what purpose did you use the name Mark Bennett?
I don't remember. I mean, I know it's out there. I know I did use it, but I don't recall what I used it for.
Did you establish any email addresses under the name Mark Bennett?
Maybe that's where I used it, but I don't recall. But maybe now that you mention it, maybe that's where I did.
The Hands for You email address you indicated was initially established for you to play online poker, correct?
Several years ago, yeah.
Was that several years before you videotaped
Yes.
Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Do you recall one way or the other whether when you established that email address you did so under the name Mark Bennett?
I don't recall.
You checked out the Nashville Marriott after staying there one night, checked out on September 5th, 2008. Does that sound right to you?
It won't mean it. If that's the date, yeah, I mean, I would agree that if that's what it says, yeah.
You recall the time frame being accurate?
5th, 6th, sometime around there, yeah.
And you contacted TMZ in January of 2009, is that correct?
That's correct.
You contacted TMZ for the purpose of selling the video to them, correct?
I did.
And when I say the video, I'm talking about the several minutes of video that you had taken of Ms. Andrews at the National Marriott and the few seconds of video you took of her at the Columbus Blackwell, correct?
I'm not sure I sent them all the videos, no, but I don't think I sent them the Columbus video.
You only sent them the Nashville video?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
So you contacted TMZ for the purpose of selling them the video that you had taken at the Nashville Marriott?
Correct.
Who did you speak with at TMZ? Well, sorry, how did you contact them by phone or by email?
Email.
Who did you address the email to?
It was their, I'm not sure who, nobody in particular. They had a website as far as, or an address as far as passing on information, tips, things like that.
What is it, if you could recall, that you relayed to TMZ during your first communication with them?
I don't recall the conversation.
You sent them an email. Did you tell them you had videotape of Erin Andrews naked?
I said it was celebrities who it was.
Did you tell them, did you provide them any of the video at the time?
I believe I did, yes.
What video did you provide to them, or what portions of the Nashville video?
Maybe one clip, like 15 seconds, something like that.
So to the best of your recollection, during your initial contact with TMZ, you provided them one clip of approximately 15 seconds and let them know that you had more.
The best of my recollection, yes.
Did TMZ respond to you?
Yes.
How long after you contacted TMZ was it that they responded to you?
I think it was that same day.
January 28, 2009, does that sound about right?
It's in that window, yeah. I buy that, yeah.
When they contacted you, what did they say?
Who is it?
And what did you respond back to them?
I waited a while, and then eventually I did respond back and told them who it was.
You told them it was Erin Andrews. Is that a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
So you ultimately told TMZ that the videotape that you had sent them, the approximate 15-second clip, was Erin Andrews naked, correct?
Correct.
As you sit here, do you recall who you were communicating with at that point from TMZ?
No idea.
Did you ever have direct communication with Harvey Levin?
No.
When you told TMZ that it was Erin Andrews, did they respond?
Yes.
Tell us what they said.
To the best of my recollection, I think they said they'd get back to you within 24 hours.
Was the video...
Your Honor, this would be a good place to have lunch. I see it's all hands are up on the clock.
Okay. We'll break off for 1 hour. Excuse me, I'm not sure which one of you has a child that usually pick up at 5 o'clock. Who is it?
I'm good today.
Okay, great. Let me go late. Okay, see you.